All right. Once again, I would like to thank everybody for coming to our Tiger Connect session provided by Hattiesburg Public School District. Today's topic is ACT Parent and Student Tips. I am Latasha Shaw, the Math Curriculum Coordinator for Hattiesburg Public School District, and we are also assisted today with Ms. Sharonda Jones, ELA Curriculum Coordinator. If at any time you're having trouble seeing what's projected, or if you have a question, please just type that in a chat box or ask at your will. As always, we always begin with the mission and vision of Hattiesburg Public School District. It is our mission to educate all students and for them to become productive citizens of a dynamic and global economy and community. Our vision is to be a model teaching and learning community that graduates productive and caring citizens who are prepared to succeed. Our goals: academic success. All students proficient and are showing growth in all academic areas. Community support and engagement. We want to foster community partnerships that support student achievement and school success. Safe and orderly schools. We want to maintain a positive learning environment. And fiscal accountability. We want to maintain sound fiscal practices. Our agenda for today. What is the ACT? Why should your child take the ACT? Little known facts about the ACT, parent and student tips, resources for students, upcoming test dates, costs, and fee waivers. What is the ACT? Basically, it's a standardized test used for college admission in the United States. It is currently administered by the ACT, a nonprofit organization of that same name. The ACT test covers 4 academic skill areas to include English, mathematics, reading, and science reasoning. It is also available, and a writing portion is also available. The overview of the ACT. For the 4 sections that are required, they are English, and there are 75 items on the English section. Students have 45 minutes to complete that section. The math section has 60 questions, and students have 60 minutes to complete that portion. Reading, 40 questions and 35 minutes. Science, 40 questions, 35 minutes. And the optional writing section is 1 essay, and the students are given 40 minutes to complete that. Why take the ACT? Well, in the state of Mississippi, it's a requirement for all of our juniors. Juniors are administered the ACT on a school day in the spring of their junior year in February. And this is used as the college and career readiness indicator for the Mississippi accountability model for our education department. There are 4 benchmarks that students should strive for to show that they're college and career ready. The benchmark scores for English is 18. The benchmark score for reading and math is 22. And the benchmark subscore for science is 23. As it relates to the Mississippi Department of Education's accountability model, we have indicators in English and math, or English and reading or math, and that accounts for about 47 points of our 1,000 point system. So it helps not only your students, but it helps your students' school show growth and achievement. Why take the ACT? In addition to it being a requirement for our juniors, it is going to help your students get into college, and it's going to also provide opportunities for scholarships. The higher your ACT score, the more likely it is you're going to get into the college of your choice. There are more scholarship opportunities available for higher scores. In the state of Mississippi, a composite score of 20 will qualify many students for what is called the HELP grant in Mississippi, which is Higher Education Legislative Plan for Needy Students. Students with a composite score of 20 can receive tuition for any public university in the state of Mississippi. So that's another incentive for them to strive for a higher composite score. Little known facts about the ACT. Let me go back one. I apologize. Why take the ACT? In addition to getting into college, it is also going to be a requirement to get into dual enrollment courses at Hattiesburg High School. Dual enrollment courses are going to be courses that students take in high school where they get college credit through William Carey or Pearl River Community College. William Carey requires a composite score of 20. Pearl River requires an ACT math sub-score of 19 and an English sub-score of 17 to qualify. Middle college is going to be where students can get the opportunity to graduate from high school, not only with their diploma, but with an associate's degree from Pearl River Community College. It requires a preferred composite score of 21 is what they would prefer for those students wanting to pursue that option. However, the enrollment requirements for math is a sub-score of 19 and English a sub-score of 17. If you'd like more information about dual enrollment classes in middle college provided through a partnership with Hattiesburg Public School District and William Carey or Pearl River, you can contact Mr. Jermaine Brown. He is the CTE Director and District Testing Coordinator. Little known facts about the ACT. Did you know that students can take the ACT a total of 12 times? So why wait? Students can start as early as the age of 13, and we encourage students to take it sooner rather than later because they'll get an opportunity to have exposure to the test format, the type of items on the test, and the more they practice with it and take it, the better their scores will be. You can click on this link here and it will take you to act.org where students can create a student account to sign up for ACT. If you would like to request your child's responses and test booklet or answer key for your ACT, it is possible to do so. This option is available for the June and December test dates. It's not available for all test dates, but if your student tests in June or December, they can request their responses, the ones they actually selected, their test booklet, and an answer key. The three of these are great remediation tools, things that they can use to study to prepare for the next time they test, so that they're practicing strategically and preparing for the upcoming test. You can click on this link here and it will take you to the ACT test information order form. This is the form that you would use to request those items I just spoke of. However, there is a fee if you would like to request these items. There's a $22 fee that will apply. In addition to what we've already stated, Hattiesburg Public School District has some additional ACT initiatives. When funding is available, the Hattiesburg Public School District sponsors an ACT testing during the school day for all juniors and for some sophomores. So the reason for this is we want our juniors to have exposure to the ACT prior to the state mandated test in February, so that they will have seen the test and can better prepare for the one that they take for the state in February. It's given on a school day in the fall, month of October. And then also we have a select few sophomores that will be taking the ACT actually today, March the 30th, about 75 students this year. And we use that information to schedule those students, our juniors, for the college dual credit or dual enrollment courses in the fall. So this gives them an opportunity to practice with the test, but also to achieve that score that they would need to enroll in dual credit courses. In addition to this, students in their junior and senior years qualify for a voucher to take the ACT in additional times other than the ones that we have already outlined here. So that's 4 different opportunities for students to take the ACT and to improve their scores. But obviously, we want them to take it as many times as possible to improve in areas that they need. Something new before I talk about parent and student tips for the ACT that I want to mention is that this year, students are able to retest in certain areas of the ACT. They don't have to take the whole test. They can take sections to improve their score for certain areas, which is new for ACT, and help students focus on the area that they need to improve. So I would encourage students that have a low sub score in any specific area to consider retesting as well for that area. So parent and student tips for the ACT. Obviously, parents, we want to encourage our children to take the ACT sooner rather than later. Once again, they have multiple opportunities to take that from the age of 13. Having only taken it once or twice, that may not provide them with the best score or the score that they need to get into the college of their choice or the programs of their choice. We also encourage you to help your child understand that they need to practice, practice, practice. Um, this is a test that covers multiple skills from high school and middle school for math and other areas. Therefore, it's not something that they're going to be able to walk blindly into. So there are many types of practice resources that are available. We'll talk about some of those. But again, the more they practice with it, the more they familiarize themselves with the format of the test and the testing items, the more likely they are improving their scores. Another thing is the way students study for the ACT. Oftentimes are prepared. They take the practice test and they go through the entire booklet. However, to maximize points, students need to spend time improving weak spots. So once they've taken the test once, they need to go back and determine the areas that they need to improve on, focusing there more so than just taking the test completely repeatedly for practice. Some tips that are sometimes overlooked or the most beneficial to students, like going to bed early, at least 2 nights before the test, getting your body conditioned to uh, rest at night so that you can be well alert on the day of the test, and doing so days, if not weeks, before your scheduled test date to get your mind and your body prepared. Eating a high protein breakfast that morning is also a benefit to students. Again, this test has time sections totaling about 3 hours. If you take the writing, it's about three and a half, a little bit more than 3.5 hours. So having a good breakfast will give them the alertness they need to endure. And that doesn't include the time that they will take to break between the sections. For additional tips and strategies for ACT, you can visit act.org, where there are tips for students in addition to parents and also for educators. Some strategies that come specifically from the ACT practice booklet include the following. It says get familiar with the content of the sections. So we want students to review the information in this practice booklet. There is a practice booklet that is available to students at the act.org website. Students can also get a practice booklet from their school counselor, but you need to familiarize yourself with that booklet. It outlines and it breaks down all the information that students need to prepare for the test. Also, students need to know which content areas make up a large portion of the test, focusing there even more to maximize points. Update your knowledge and skills in the content area. You need to review content areas that you have studied but have not freshened up on in a while. So any type of subjects that are listed in the ACT booklet underneath the 4 areas, you need to refresh yourself on those, practice with those, the areas of weakness to try to improve your score. Student content areas you are not familiar with, or study content areas you are not familiar with. So anything that's unfamiliar to you, that will be an opportunity for you to go in and study and get a better understanding to maximize your score. Additional strategies can be found on pages 3 through 10 of the ACT practice booklet, which will show you where you can go to get a copy of that from the ACT website in just a moment. What you'll bring with you. Students, please make sure you have these items with you when you show up for your ACT appointment to take your test. You definitely need your admission ticket. And this is a ticket you can print off after you register for your test in your ACT account. You will need that to enter. You'll also need some form of identification, preferably a state ID or your student ID. Pencils, number 2 pencils preferably, pre-sharpen and bring several. And there is a calculator policy that ACT provides. It tells you which calculators are prohibited and which ones are permitted. Please review that. Make sure you have the calculator that is on the list that is allowable, because that will be the only one you'll be able to use. You can only use a calculator on the math section of the ACT. Also a watch, not a smart watch, because they're not allowed to pace yourself. Remember, each section is timed. You don't want to waste your time, and you want to be aware of how much time you have left. No phones, leave those in your vehicle or don't bring them at all. Additional resources to prepare for the ACT can be found at act.org. In addition to that, you'll find the 2019-2020 practice booklet. If you click on that link that I have here, which is just act.org/free practice ACT test, you can enter your name and email address, and you can download a digital form of the ACT practice booklet. So if you don't have one on hand that you got from school or your child got from school, you can download one from the website at any time. Additional resources, as I said, can be found by going to act.org/content/ACT, and it will provide you with tips and tools, study guide, resources, full-length practice tests online, examples, videos, and more. Upcoming ACT dates and frequently asked questions. So these are the additional ACT dates for the 2021 school year. As you can see, we have a test date coming up on April the 17th, but the deadline has passed to register for that, and the late registration date has passed as well. So the next opportunities for signing up for ACT will be May the 7th for the June 12th test, and then also June the 18th for the July 17th test. Also in the fall, we went ahead and provided you with the dates for the upcoming test dates that will be in the fall of this year as well. If there are any questions about scheduling, but there are new procedures for testing, there's a link here, which takes us to the act.org website that tells us about the testing in the midst of COVID. So there have been some changes. Any updates that you would need to know can be found on this page. If for some reason you are unable to test on your scheduled date, maybe the test center was closed, maybe there was some catastrophic event that was out of your control, there are opportunities to request a refund if you had to pay to take the test. This link takes us to the request for refund page. It tells you which test dates you can request that for, and you would just fill that form out and then go from there. So you could possibly get a refund for a test that you paid for if there was something that occurred that was out of your control. When will the scores be available? Normally, ACT scores are available within 2 to 3 weeks after the test date. Students can log into their student ACT account and view those results. Additionally, the reports will be mailed to the school that your child attends 4 to 6 weeks after the test date. The cost associated with the ACT. These are the prices for the 2020-2021 school year. The ACT fee is $55 without the writing, and it's $70 if you include the optional writing portion. So an additional $15 if you want to also take the writing portion. However, there are fee waivers and vouchers that students can qualify for. You must meet all of the following requirements to qualify for those. We talked about that. If you're 11th or 12th grader, you can qualify for one. You have to be a U.S. citizen or in one of the U.S. territories. And then also meet one or more of the indicators listed here for economic need. I see a note in the chat box. I'm going to read that. It says, also, there are some Sunday ACT testing dates at specific location sites. Check the website when you register. Also, you are allowed to register late and purchase a standby ticket for AC testing. That means that if there are any extra seats available at the testing center on the testing date, you will be able to test. All right, that was from Ms. Thompson Vaughn. Thank you, Ms. Vaughn, for that information. All right, how to apply for a fee waiver. Check with your school counselor to see if you're eligible for one first and foremost. And once your counselor determines if you're eligible or not, you can receive up to 2 fee waivers to take the ACT for free. And you would do this when you register for your ACT online, and you will use your code so that you won't have to pay. For additional information about ACT, you can visit www.act.org, or you can contact your child's counselor in our Berger or at Hattiesburg High School. We have additional parent resources available from Hattiesburg Public School District by following these links. These videos that we are doing for Tiger Connect will be made available via our YouTube channel. So please look forward to this video being uploaded to that channel at 6 p.m. today. Announcements and upcoming events. Please join us next Tuesday at 12 p.m. for our next Tiger Connect. Topic: Graduation and Beyond, hosted by Mr. Jermaine Brown, Dr. Cherish Pierce, and Mrs. Jenny Noonkester. Thank you for joining us today. For more information, please contact the Hattiesburg Public School District, 601-582-5078. Tonza Bond, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, grades 6 through 12. Hope Michael, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, grades K through 5, and Mr. Jermaine Brown, Career and Technical Education Director and District Testing Coordinator. Thank you all again for your time. We're going to stop sharing at this moment, and we're going to see if there are any additional questions that we can help anyone with.